My grandfather had MND, motor neuron disease, a non curable neurodisorder that causes eventual paralysis. I remember the slow loss first his voice, then his ability to move, and eventually everything. We never talked about what led to it. Only now, reading The Myth of Normal, do I realize there may have been a deeper, quieter cause. In the 2000s, a group of ALS patients, note that ALS is a type of MND disorder, they were observed by nurses and doctors at the Cleveland Clinic. They noticed something strange. An overwhelming number of these patients were described as extra nice. So much so that the staff would quietly write things like, "This person might have ALS, she's too nice." Or, "He can't have ALS, he's not nice enough." And the shocking part? These intuitive observations proved accurate over and over again. People who had spent a lifetime being agreeable, emotionally contained, and deeply accommodating were the ones being diagnosed. That's not the only study. In 1982, a German research group examined women admitted for breast biopsies based on just personality traits like emotional suppression, conflict avoidance, hyperindependence, excessive altruism. The research could predict with 94% accuracy which women had breast cancer and which women didn't. Let that sink in. It wasn't just the body that gave away the disease, it was the personality, conditioned behavior, emotional survival strategies, and it doesn't stop there. In medical research today, doctors and nurses are increasingly seeing a pattern where specific emotional suppression correlates with specific illnesses. Repressed anger will lead to prostate problems and cancer. Grief and loss of a loved one would lead to bone or blood cancer. People who are too nice, ALS, suppressed emotion would lead to breast cancer. PTSD or denial of trauma would lead to ovarian cancer, and excessive fear will lead to a heart disease. And all of this is not esoteric. There is an entire field of medical science studying this now. It's called psychoneuroimmunoendocrinology, where the mind, brain, immunity, and hormones are understood as one interconnected system. At the heart of it all lies a system called the HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal connection. It's your body's main stress system. When a threat is sensed, whether emotional, physical, or imaginary, your HPA axis kicks in, flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline to keep you safe. But when trauma isn't resolved, when you stay in chronic stress, this system doesn't switch off. Your body starts to believe that the world is a permanently unsafe place. This causes hormonal imbalances, immune breakdown, and eventually disease. And here's the thing most people miss: this dysregulation only happens when trauma is in process. When we don't allow ourselves to feel it, when we say it doesn't affect me anymore, while the body holds the memory. That sentence, "I'm over it," is often a trauma response in disguise. Over time, this trauma reduces something called response flexibility, the ability of your brain, specifically your midfrontal cortex, to pause, feel, and choose how to respond to a situation. Instead, we go into an autopilot of defense mode, shut down, overcompensate, freeze, or fawn. So, how do we deal with trauma? Sometimes trauma doesn't show up as chaos, it shows up as control, as the perfect daughter, or the over responsible son. The one who's always fine, the one who never asks for help, too busy taking care of everybody. We think we have moved on, but what we've really done is adapt, shapeshift into personalities that helped us survive, even if it meant disconnected from who we really were. We became nice instead of honest. We faked being strong instead of vulnerable, productive instead of present. And that disconnection, it doesn't just stay in the mind, it settles in the body. It shows up in your immune system, your hormones, your digestion, your breath, in your burnout, in your people pleasing, in the lump in your throat that never leaves. But you are not broken. You were shaped, and everything that was shaped can be reshaped. Healing isn't about fixing yourself, it is about reconnecting with the parts that you had to go silent. And sometimes the illness, the anxiety, the fatigue, the disease, it's not the enemy, it's the invitation. It's a reminder that your body and your trauma that has settled in your body needs attention, needs your care. Now, whatever I've said, you can accept it or deny it, but when it hits you, you won't be able to escape it. All the information in this video is from the book called The Myth of Normal by Gabor Maté. In next video, we'll explore how culture itself can keep you stuck in patterns that feel normal but are anything but normal. If this was of value, please hit subscribe and I'll see you next week.